It is an artifact that keeps time with human lives. A clock that tolls every time someone dies on the planet. It's said to be over 600 years old, but it's possible that its true age is impossible to determine. It has survived wars, natural disasters, and even attempts by its own creators to destroy it. And though it may seem like a mere relic of the past, there are those who believe that this clock is still ticking away, waiting for the moment when it will finally reveal its secrets. So what is the history of the mysterious clock of Suyt'u Qaqa? And why do some people still believe it holds the key to understanding the universe itself? Our story begins in the heart of the Andes Mountains, on the border of Peru and Bolivia, where two young boys were playing one day when they stumbled upon something strange, an old metal cylinder about half a meter wide and several meters long, half buried in the dirt. At first, they thought it was just a discarded oil drum, but when they looked closer, they saw that it was covered in strange markings and symbols. Curious, they decided to take it to a local shaman named Don Pablo. Don Pablo had always been interested in the history of the area, and he knew that the mountains were full of artifacts left behind by ancient cultures. He examined the cylinder carefully, turning it over in his hands and tracing the symbols with his fingers. "This is no ordinary object," he said to the boys. "It's a very important part of our history." Don Pablo then called on the elders of the community to help him decipher the markings on the cylinder. They gathered around it, their faces etched with concentration as they tried to piece together its meaning. After much deliberation, they came to a conclusion that would change their lives forever. The cylinder was not just an artifact. It was a sacred timekeeper known as the Suyt'u Qaqa. According to legend, the Suyt'u Qaqa was created by the Incas over 600 years ago as a way to measure the passage of time and keep track of important dates. But it wasn't just a simple clock. It was also said to be a kind of mirror that reflected the souls of those who gazed into it. Some believed that the clock could even predict the future, and many came from far and wide to consult it. But as the Spanish conquistadors approached, the Inca leaders knew that they couldn't risk the clock falling into enemy hands. So they did something drastic. They hid it deep in the mountains, burying it under layers of dirt and rock, hoping it would never be found. And for centuries, it remained lost until the boys stumbled upon it. Don Pablo was determined to preserve the site and prevent any damage to the clock. With the help of the local villagers, they built a small museum nearby to protect it. The site became known as the Talking Clock Museum, and soon people from all over the world were coming to see it. But not everyone was happy about the discovery. There were those who wanted to exploit the clock for their own gain, including a ruthless businessman named Demetrio Perez. Demetrio had heard rumors of the clock's powers, and he believed that if he could get his hands on it, he could use it to make a fortune. He offered to buy the clock from Don Pablo, but when the old shaman refused, he became angry and threatened to destroy the museum if he didn't get what he wanted. Don Pablo knew he had to act fast to protect the clock. He called on the Pachamama, the Earth Mother, for help, and suddenly the ground beneath Demetrio's feet began to shake. The businessman panicked and ran for cover, but it was too late. The clock had been saved. As the years passed, the clock continued to fascinate and mystify those who came to see it. Some claimed that when they looked into its depths, they saw visions of the past, while others said they saw glimpses of their own future. There were even rumors that the clock could communicate with those who believed in it, whispering secrets of the universe if they listened closely. One day, a young woman named Maria arrived at the museum. She was a skeptic, but she had come to see the clock because she didn't believe in its supposed powers. As she stood before it, however, she felt a strange tingling sensation, and suddenly she saw a vision of herself as an old woman, weak and alone. Startled, she backed away from the clock, wondering what it could possibly mean. Was this really a glimpse of her future, or was it just a trick of the light? Maria returned home, shaken by what she had seen. She couldn't stop thinking about the vision of her old self, and she wondered if there was something she could do to change it. She decided to return to the museum and seek out Don Pablo. The old shaman listened patiently as Maria told him about her vision, and then he shared with her a secret that had been passed down to him by his ancestors. According to Inca legend, the clock did not just reflect the future, it also held the key to immortality. If one could unlock its secrets, they could live forever. Maria was skeptical, but she was desperate to find a way to change her fate. She agreed to help Don Pablo protect the clock and learn its secrets, hoping that in doing so, she might also find a way to secure her own future. Together, they faced many challenges, including the return of Demetrio, who was still determined to get his hands on the clock. But with the help of the villagers and the spirits of the mountains, they were able to defend the site and keep it safe. As the years went by, Maria and Don Pablo grew closer. They shared a deep connection, not only because of their work, but also because of their love for the land and its people. Maria learned much from the old shaman, including how to connect with the natural world and listen to the wisdom of the ancients. She began to see the clock not just as a mystical artifact, but as a living, breathing part of the ecosystem. She realized that it was not merely a tool for measuring time, but a reflection of the interconnectedness of all things. But their peaceful life was shattered one day. When a group of scientists arrived at the museum, they had heard rumors of the clock, and they wanted to study it, believing that it could hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. However, they were more interested in taking the clock away for testing than preserving it in its natural environment. Maria and Don Pablo knew that if the scientists got their hands on the clock, it would never be the same. They refused to let them take it, and soon a battle between tradition and modernity was raging. The scientists argued that they were doing what was best for the clock, that studying it would help humanity understand the mysteries of time and the cosmos. But Maria and Don Pablo stood firm, believing that the clock should remain in its natural habitat, untouched by modern science. As the debate grew more heated, Maria began to have visions again, but this time they were different. She saw the clock being destroyed, its power unleashed in a catastrophic explosion that threatened to wipe out everything in its path. Terrified, she knew that she had to find a way to stop the scientists from destroying the clock, but also to protect the village from the potential disaster. Working together, Maria and Don Pablo devised a plan to stop the scientists and preserve the clock. They used their knowledge of the land and the wisdom of the ancients to create a series of traps and diversions, each designed to test the scientists' character and determine whether they were truly worthy of the clock's secrets. As the story reaches its climax, the scientists face the ultimate test, a final challenge that will determine their fate and the fate of the clock. Will they be able to pass the test and earn the trust of the villagers? Or will they destroy the clock and unleash its power upon the world? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment below to share your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. Until next time.